Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have a brand new archetype that I'm now going to be considering in the S tier, the godly tier of Yu-Gi-Oh archetypes. And no, I'm not talking about Splight, but I have to show it beat Splight in order for you guys to kind of get the understanding and idea of how good this new deck is. So, again, Splight is very good. I don't think that that's up for contention at all. The Splight player is going to open up what I would consider pretty consistently. You know, it's a good board. He's got the gigantic Splight. He's also got awesome, and of course he's going to be able to bring out some extra cards. He's got a starter over here. He's got red. He's got the carrot over here. So he's got a pretty decent little turn one board. He tributes the Totally Awesome, but Totally Awesome is actually going to be coming back again, and the brand new card that makes everything possible to make Mathmechs actually a high tier meta competitive deck in the future. Especially if we get any extra support for the deck, it's already looking pretty good. I mean, playing against that board, that's a tough board to beat, but the Mathmech player not only is going to win, but one-shot OTK him, and you could do a lot more with this deck now with Circular. So what the heck is Circular? Why is this card important for the archetype? Well, it has this awesome ability to send a Mathmech from the deck to the grave, except for itself, and then you get to special summon it. So it allows you to extend your combo, or basically have a great starter that forces the negations out for your opponent. And then on top of that, you can only attack with one monster, but that's not a big deal at all because you can boost up the stats. Being able to dump whatever you need at the right time and also getting extra damage like you can with some of the extra Mathmech cards. You can one-shot your opponent. You can give them a Kaiju and then one-shot them. But more than likely, if they have anything in attack position, you're going to GG them even through multiple negations here, which is so powerful with this archetype. So I showed you guys the deck going second. What can it do first turn? Because I was wondering that myself. As like previously, I thought Splight, all they would do is Sigma. That's how it used to be played, I would say, for the most part. But now you have a lot more access to things because of the brand new card that got announced, which is Circular, which you guys are seeing gameplay of. So Final Sigma, it's a good card. I mean, it's like immune to basically everything. It's like the boss monster. It has kind of low stats, like 3,000. A lot of the boss monsters nowadays are anywhere from like 4th to 5,000 attack. But this card is really good, not only because it's really easy to bring out compared to other archetypes. A lot of other archetypes, they'll like invest everything into like that one card. Whereas this, you can go for multiple things because of the super factorial. You're just going to cycle through as many of your cards as possible, like turn one. Because I was looking at this, I'm like, where's the negates, right? But the thing is that super factorial allows you to play negates and disruptions on your opponent. So there's a card that has like 4 disruptions. It technically has like 1 negate. So you go for super factorial and you make Laplation over here. This card, no surprise over here. Very good card. So it has so many different effects. I mean, it has so many effects that I gotta read it to you guys. So it has 3 different effects, and you can get all of them. So you can send one random card from your opponent's hand to the grave. You send a monster that your opponent controls to the grave. You can send a spell and trap your opponent controls to the grave. And if you have diameter as material, you can actually negate. So it's basically 4 effects in one. And then you can go to Limberton over here. This is a really good card, being able to search out any Mathmech card. Also with Circular Dumping, you have easy access to recovery with this archetype, as you just go right into this, add one, and then look, we got super factorial all over again. And this is the card. It's almost like that Tri-Brigade card where you just like bust out all your cards, but you go for a synchro, or you can go for an Exceeds monster effect. So he goes into the access code talker, he gets rid of that. He's got the super factorial set up right again, so as soon as his opponent goes, he can just pop off and go for triple, go for a super boss monster, or go, of course, for whatever you need to go for. I think the Exceed is a lot better than the synchro. Obviously, the synchro is good if you don't know what your opponent has for back row and you're afraid of things, but if you can successfully get off a Laplation, I mean, you're sending one card that they have in their hand, one card on the board, and you can also pop another card, and you have a negate. It's way better than just a super boss. So he's gonna go for access code talker over there, get that extra stats. Even if he, I guess, got rid of that card, didn't really matter. Anyways, he's got fuel for the next turn. It doesn't really matter at this point because he's got the chalice, so he's not going to be doing anything, and that's going to go ahead and be a GG to his opponent. I like how the person put Splight Cranberry. That's a great name over here. But I want to show you guys a variety of duel. I want to show you guys like basically beating a lot of what would be considered like the S tier of decks, right? So we're going to now see it up against Mystic Mine. And it actually has a pretty good matchup against Mine because you can just control the number. Specifically the Sky Striker variant, because if they have no monsters, then yeah, it's kind of hard maybe to deal with it if it's already up on the board. But if it isn't on the board, obviously you can negate it with Laplation, so he's going to go ahead and have the same amount of monsters and actually stop it. And we're actually going to see a play that's pretty cool here with Nibiru, which you guys will see. So We have the Silent Conflict also, and this card effect is a spell speed 3. So when a spell slash trap or monster face is activated while you control a code talker, you get to negate the activation and then banish that card. That's actually quite important, and your opponent can't activate cards or effects with the same original name as the one that was banished. So really good stuff, just being able to banish the cards, because Sky Striker, they kind of like having the cards in the graveyard, obviously. And now we're going to go ahead and see him pop some of the stuff. And access code talker activating its effect, he cannot chain it to it, because that's part of Access Code Talker's effect. I think he should have activated maybe it would have summoned, but at the end of the day, he would have just activated the effect anyways, because he controls the same amount, right? So, I mean, maybe it was pointless. So he's going to go ahead and Nibiru, but hey, Sigma is like, I don't even care. I'm immune to that. He's going to go ahead and bring back an extra card. Then he has triple tactic talents to snatch steal the Nibiru and still make it game with the Nibiru. That was spicy. I like that. So big shout out to being over here. A lot of great plays from a lot of different players over here. Now we're going to be seeing Jade show off this different build, and shout out to the player also, and shout out to my homie Riv for hooking me up with this like really amazing gameplay, because there's so many people playing this deck now, and at first I was like, what the heck, why are people playing this Mathmech deck? Because I usually like to gather up lots of replay footage from different things, and I just saw a few Mathmechs and I dipped out because I was like, okay, it's not like meta enough. But I guess I was wrong. I definitely think, I mean, if you could beat Sword Soul Splight, if you can beat all of these top tier decks, I think we are in contention for another godly tier of deck. And the reason why I consider it godly tier is it has good recovery, it can play the grind game, it can play whatever game you want. It can play like, I make boss monster, your deck has no out. I can play second, obviously, from the first gameplay. It's just circular. I mean, that card alone just makes the deck. And if we get like literally any more support for this deck, it's going to be even better. And considering there's cybers, there's so much generic just cyber stuff, but you always super factorial on their turn. That's just basically the play. You go for the Laplation, and you're like, I'm going to rip a card out of your hand. And look at this. This is where I was like, okay, what the heck? Because I haven't played where I've seen Diameter. So Diameter actually negates the Droplet over here, which is, well, that's a pretty good effect, right? Good stuff indeed. And a lot of people just like may not read, because you have to read Diameter and it's like underneath the card. So I think this deck is going to be godly tier for multiple reasons. One, it's a legitimately good deck. Two, a lot of people are like, dude, why is he making Final Sigma? Because that's how people used to play the deck. But I'll give you guys multiple different deck profiles after we check out this duel over here, and I'll mention some other stuff. But yeah, it's very, very good. Sword Soul players. He's got Cheese Out over here, or on top of that, he's got the Boxia, and we're going to go ahead and see him. On top of that, Decode Talker is a pretty decent card, just being able to pay some life points, getting some extra draw power too, because you need a link into something, and the reason why you do need to do that is simply due to, well, he lost connection, Kappa. What a coincidence. But yeah, I mean, it's already a GG at that point. But you guys can see how good the deck actually is. I'm going to mouse over the cards really quick, but there's so many different ways that you can play it. I think Tactic Talents is really great in the deck, because just being able to draw those extra 2 cards is pretty big, or like taking out an opponent's monster, as you guys saw with the Nibiru. Like, he's playing through Nibiru. You can even play it like a sword place deck. You can see the Anti-Spell Fragrance here, D-Barrier if you want to lock your opponent out. I actually think some of the other choices can be great as well. I've always been a fan of Omega. Really great card indeed over here. But good stuff, good stuff. This is mostly for it potentially going second. That could be great as well. Obviously, yeah, you need to play the other cards, Cap, but this is like extra disrespect. Don't even play the Gamma. I think that was just an error, Kappa. But yeah, really, really good stuff indeed. And you can play a lot of hand traps in this deck as well, because you have a lot of room, because circular, just the ability to just get that dump, and you on top of that, you have Silent Mining to get the extra search. So you have a lot more consistency. You basically have a play where your opponent definitely needs to stop this, otherwise you pop off, and if they don't stop it, then, well, you're going to be good to go anyways. But it just forces an instant negation out from your opponent. And obviously, again, from the beginnings of the gameplay, you guys can see how good this deck can potentially be. But anyways, thanks for tuning, guys. If you guys enjoyed the gameplay, drop a like on it. Let me know your thoughts on the new Mathmech Circular, because I think it actually is very good. But if you want to see more, maybe we'll get more support in the future. But subscribe to the bell so you don't miss out on more new Yu-Gi-Oh videos in the future. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace!